What's up, everybody? I'm the Layman, and it's time for my RWBY analysis of the week, which, sure, we'll call it that. I don't care. In lieu of proper reaction videos, because these are 20-minute videos, I'm realizing. First one was over 20 minutes. This one's about 20 minutes. It's not as feasible as, like, just the RWBY Chibi shorts, so this is the format. Anyway, Episode 2, Dread in the Air. I liked it. Short answer is I liked it. Long answer is lots of interesting things happened. After the theme song, the episode opens with Lionheart and Dr. Watts, I remembered his name, going into a secret chamber to talk with Salem through one of her Palantir Grim things that we saw briefly in Volume 4. I think this is the first time we've actually seen one working, if I remember correctly. And yeah, it's basically Watts and Lionheart, Leonardo Lionheart, because redundancy, talking with Salem and Cinder Fall, who... Something interesting there.
Cinder, dear, are we coming through? Can you see us clearly? Well, as clearly as you can.
Shut up.
She can talk again. Whatever. For whatever reason she can talk in. I don't care. But that was just like... pretty much like... That's basically the thing that stood out to me the most, is that they actually are giving Cinder actual lines again. Regardless, they basically, go through the typical, you work for me now, I can end you at a thought, blah, 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 to Lionheart. And they mentioned Tyrion a couple times, Scorpion guy who fought Crow and RWBY way back when. And he's getting something of an upgrade, and he's also actually gonna have a part in this series still, so that's nice. He was fun. Anyway, after that, cut over back to Weiss's situation, where despite the pilot's best efforts to avoid trouble, they get attacked by a bunch of hornet-like Grim called Lancers. They're called that because they can shoot their stingers like roped harpoons, basically, and that there's a whole battle of them fighting them off. Lots of cool stuff that Weiss does with her glyphs and whatever, and that actually brings up that answers a very important question that I've had for a long time, which I've always suspected this, but never actually known whether or not it was true. Weiss's glyphs are not indestructible. They, with enough force / effort, they can be broken. This is basically illustrated, after towards the end of the fight, the boss shows up, the Queen Lancer, and ultimately, Weiss uses her new summoning ability to fight it, but ultimately, they end up, going on a crash course for the mainland. Though they do defeat that Grim, which is nice. It's one less huge Grim bothering other people. So there's that. Then we actually get to check in on the White Fang itself in Mistral, which we've only ever seen Adam's forces before. So and aside from what's their two faces in Volume 4 plus Ilya. So this is interesting, and the person at the top of the food chain, the supreme leader, it is another kind of cat-like faunus like Callie is. So she had a very interesting design picture to go here, and basically, Adam. It started out with Adam on trial, then the big burly guy that Oscar met on his way to Haven City, Hazel. Yeah, his name's Hazel. Showed up, introduced, and that's when Adam enacts his coup and becomes the leader of all the White Fang everywhere. I'm honestly not surprised, but at the same time, I did not actually see it coming. So that's interesting. That's definitely part of those portents of doom that Ilya was hinting at in episode 1. Also, the first on-screen character death. They're getting that out of the way early in this volume. I'm sure the body count will add up exponentially as we go on, but for now it just sits at the 1. And of course Adam spun it to, further his own agenda. Before the episode ends, brief cut back to the crash scene of the airship that Weiss was on. She survived, a little banged up, however, but she gets found by a couple unsavory looking people and Raven. If you saw the trailer, then you'll recognize that scene. So basically, Weiss actually found Yang's mom before Yang did. I can just imagine the fan fiction about that now. Just how that encounter is when Yang finally makes her appearance. So that was interesting. And yeah, the episode ends with Raven knocking Weiss out and presumably dragging her back to whatever base they're at. And again, the music is super rockin' in this. I cannot wait for the Volume 5 soundtrack. Like, I wasn't too much of a fan of soundtracks of the previous 2 volumes. Like, 1 and 2 are kind of up there for me. But this one's probably gonna be a contender. Like judging just by the music in these first 2 episodes, plus the theme song, which is easily becoming one of my more favorite theme songs. I'll have to quantify exactly how those stack up at some point, but regardless, lots of interesting stuff happened. And yeah, this was mostly the story was mostly told in broad strokes, and there was a big fight scene in the middle of it, so there's not too much else to talk about here without getting into minutia, and then by that point we'll be here all day. But yeah, no, now I'm really interested to see what happens next. Judging by the pattern, it's probably going to cut to Blake briefly, especially with, the Adam thing that just happened, so interested to see how that stacks up. Will Weiss run into the Spring Maiden? And again, is it actually that chick that we see in the opening, who is the only one that I don't recognize at all from anything else previously? So, lots of questions. Anyway, that's all for this week. I will see you guys next week with either another episode or probably another episode. But either that or a World of Remnant analysis. So, my thoughts on that. So, I don't know, bye.
There's a day when I call